Hello, welcome to class. I'm your instructor. My name is Miss Jones, otherwise known as CJ, or CJvia. CJvia Deshay Jones, if you will. But, upon my preference, Miss Jones, while we're here in this classroom, respectfully. Or CJ, I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know you probably know me from TikTok. Hey, girl. Or sir, if you here. Not too much. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I want to say hello. Thank you to everyone who's come over on this side, you know what I'm saying, to fuck with a young nigga, you know what I'm saying? I fucks with you. You're a real one. I also want to say, if you haven't already, go back and watch my first video from 7 months ago of me introducing myself to the interconnected webs that Beyonce pays for. I was a young lad. I was 24. Just getting out there. Wasn't comfortable on the camera. Wasn't comfortable looking at myself, if I'm being honest. On camera, particularly. You know, the mirror, the camera, just it's two different things. I've always felt like I look different on camera, and it just freaked me out too much. But then I was just so filled with the spirit of knowledge that I had to come on the webs that Beyonce pays for and talk about it, right? So what I'm going to do here today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, and then we're going to talk a little bit about you, bitch. Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about you, sir. Yeah, you too. Fuck. What we're going to talk about today is self-love. We're going to talk about self-love. We're going to talk about loving yourself, what that means, how you get there, all that good shit. You feel me? Do you smell me? Yeah. Because I did just buy a little bit of a haul from Bath and Body Works because they was having a sale. $5. And respectfully, the shit used to be $3. I don't know what's going on now. That inflation, quote unquote, y'all just raising the prices because you know we're going to motherfucking buy it. I'm going to stop buying it when I got enough. And I do have enough. I'm glad that I decided, like, okay, spend a little bit of money on myself. And that's the thing about self-love. Enjoy things for yourself. Like, I'm so used to buying things for other people, doing shit for other people in the name of, like, I love them. But then I had to learn, I had to break it down because I was going through some shit, you know what I'm saying? And somebody broke it down to me, like, you have to love yourself. And I'm telling her, like, I don't know what that means, respectfully. I had to realize I didn't know what that means because all the shit that I had tried and did or whatever, it didn't work. So I realized, like, okay, maybe I'm fucking up. I'm doing something, you know what I'm saying? Because this is what I had fell into. These are all of the things that I had did in the name of, like, freedom, self-love, doing what I want to do, being able to be who I want to be. Child. Hold on, let me fix this. This is a little cricket. I don't like that. Anywho, yeah, in the name of, like, being myself or whatever, okay, in high school, I feel like that's where it started. I wanted to express myself physically. I wanted to dress how I wanted to dress, and it's like, yes, everyone should, and you should, you know what I'm saying? But when I found myself dressing in ways that other people were dressing just because I was being picked on for being myself, like, my grandma did not let me follow no trends, child. When it came down to the clothing and stuff when in high school, my grandma was like, you gonna get what you can get out of JCPenney. Out of Ross, out of Belk, out of Bells. Yeah, so that's what we did. And actually, Ross was more of expensive. We went there for church. You know what I mean? Like, we went there for the fancy stuff. But we went to JCPenney or Belk. I was not allowed to go into Forever 21, Aeropostale, Hollister, all these places, or whatever, Justice and stuff that the girls was getting the cute stuff from. I had to figure something out. Fortunately for myself, I was very hard-headed, and I had a habit of sneaking out of the house because I needed some love and tenderness. So I was going to a boy. In the name of being able to be free and finding what I want for myself. I didn't know what I was looking for at the time, but I was looking for love. My daddy wasn't around, you know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. There's a lot of forms of love that we need to give ourselves, and we don't realize it truly until you just look back on all your experiences and really dig deep and think about your intentions or your motives. What was motivating you to do that? You was probably looking for some love, baby. Your daddy ain't love you. That's what it was for me. My daddy ain't love me. My mama didn't give a fuck about herself nor her kids. My grandma, I don't know. I was very confused at the time about love from my grandmother because she would buy me stuff and then she'd be mean. It was crazy. I didn't know. It was very strange. So to understand what self-love is, you have to just understand in the first place, what is love in general? Like what even is that? What does it take? What are the measures? How do you know? What does it feel like? What do you think when you love something? All these things, like, honestly, to break it down, I think first we have to talk about being an accountable person. You know what I'm saying? Being someone who can be honest and pay attention to what is going on in your life, what has happened in your life, and truly saying, okay, what was my motives? Did I do anything, or how did I get here? Being honest with yourself and being accountable, you know what I'm saying? Just being able to be a person who keeps account of things and moves accordingly based on what you've seen or what you heard or what happened. Yes, that's required for love. You know what I'm saying? Because to love someone, when you love a child, for example, you're accountable for said child. If that child is around you, you're gonna take care of them, or you're gonna make sure at least that they're good. You ain't gonna let nothing happen to them, because you're being accountable for that child, because you love the child. You know what I'm saying? At the very basis of love, I feel like one of those things is accountability. You're paying attention to this individual. You know what I'm saying? And you keep track of what's going on with them, what's happening with them, and you move accordingly if you love them. You know what I'm saying? Because if you know somebody's going through something and they're just having the worst time of their life, when you love them, you keep account of what's going on with them, and then you move accordingly. You ain't gonna drag them through the mud knowing that they're already going through it. That's not love. That ain't love at all. You know what I'm saying? That's something else. That's something more vicious, like hate. Dun dun dun. And we'll talk about that too. I like to talk about hate. I think it's a very interesting topic if you ask me, but we can talk about love for right now. I think there'll be multiple videos on this. Why not do other videos about other things too? Speaking of love, I do want to do some pop the balloon, watch with me's, because I feel like there's a lot of things that I just immediately noticed, like, why the fuck would you say that, or why the fuck would you do that, like when I'm watching the men's videos and the women's videos. So I'm gonna do some reaction videos, and it's gonna be definitely some stop and plays or whatever. Like, okay, this is why a person would say something like this. A person, yeah, that's what it's gonna be. But anywho, back to business. You know what I'm saying? One thing that I think, now I'm not going to say it's the first thing, but one thing I do think is important when it comes to love and loving someone is being an accountable person. You know what I'm saying? Being able to be honest and be truthful, for one, about your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Because and that ain't just with them. That's just with yourself as well. When you love somebody and when you love yourself, you're honest. You're going to tell them, like, hey, I don't want to do this with you. I'm not going to bullshit with you, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to go here with you. I don't want to kick it tonight. I can't sit on the phone with you tonight. I'm not feeling it. Rather than participating in half-assing it and then, ultimately mistreating this person or misusing their feelings, misabusing, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Mishandling their feelings because you don't love them, because you can't be honest with them. And then sometimes when it is like, oh, I love them, and, it's just hard to be honest. It's because you don't love yourself. Not enough to be honest, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, we're gonna get there. There's steps to things, because sometimes when you hear shit, it just don't make sense. It's all right, little baby, we're gonna break that shit the fuck down. It's mindfulness. So what I have here is this little notebook that I wrote in some months back, and I just happened to look in it a few days ago, and I was like, wow, I have some good information in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, it looks like I've written some affirmations. And if you don't know what an affirmation is, it's things that you repeat to yourself, and you just speak life into yourself, pretty much. They're things that you can say that your brain registers after you say it for a while and over again and again and again. You start to believe them. So I'm gonna say some of mine, and I'm gonna tell you, like, why I would choose these. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a bunch of them. Like, I have a lot. You know what I'm saying? One of my first ones is, I love the life I live. Because it is very hard to love things if you don't love life in general. You know what I mean? Like, when you go around hating life, hating like everything that's around, like, okay, the wind blows, like, oh my God, it's so, okay, the trees or whatever, oh my God, you're hating life in general. I love the life that I live. I walk outside and it's bugs, it's spiders, it's ants, it's windy, I can breathe. I have a roof over my head. I have food on my table. All the basic things of my life, I love that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to remind myself at a point, like, I'm actually really privileged. I'm privileged to be where I am look like how I look, you know what I'm saying, think what I think, you know what I'm saying, be able to maneuver how I maneuver. I'm very privileged. So I have to remind myself that I love the life that I live. Because if you don't remind yourself that you love life and that you love the life that you live, you're going to want to get out of here. And that's just at the basic sense. You need to love life. You know what I'm saying? It's you can love yourself and not love life. And those that be happening. We see beautiful people, or people who are extremely happy with and have so many hobbies. We see them get out of here all the time just because they don't, you know, it's hard to love life. It's hard to see the hope in life sometimes. It's just, and also too, we're going to talk about supplements, because supplements are very important when it comes to our brain chemistry and what we think about life and how we think of ourselves. Because all the things that you think of yourself aren't always just based around like what you feel in your heart or your spirit, or are you good, are you a good person, or have you been doing the work. It's also sometimes your brain chemistry. Sometimes you need some supplements. Sometimes you're missing a little piece of vitamin D, a little bit of magnesium, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of B12. You ain't got no goddamn energy. You need a little more sleep. You need a little protein in your system, a little more, you know what I'm saying. It ain't always, you know, just shit that we know of or that we're conscious of, you know, in our hearts and in our spirits, that we're just dragging, you know, all the trauma. It's sometimes you just need to eat. God damn it, you ain't eating enough. But back on track, you know what I'm saying? That's one affirmation that I write down and I'll remind myself of. And these are things like you can decide for yourself how often to do your affirmations. I do it when I feel like I need to do it, when I feel inclined to. I can sometimes be sitting there like, you know what? I can sit and listen to some music or put something on and, you know, just repeat to myself, or stand in the mirror and repeat these things to myself. Another one that I have, let's see. Unhealthy cycles start with me. The thing is, when you repeat something to yourself, because this is the thing about the brain is very intelligent. You can't just say anything to the motherfucker and think that the brain gonna be like, oh, okay. You have to trick it, kind of. That's how we go to sleep. When you lay down, you have to trick your brain to fall asleep. You have to pretend to be asleep. That's what you have to do with anything else. You have to pretend to do this. You have to pretend to already be there or have this, or, you know, whatever, for your brain to understand that you're there. The same way that when you talk about something constantly that's bothering you, you re-traumatizing yourself, or you making yourself angry again. Like you talking about, oh yeah, she did this today. You feel yourself getting hype, your blood pressure getting up, you know what I'm saying? You redoing it. You in that moment, you know what I'm saying? So the same thing with these affirmations. You're convincing your brain, you getting back and you getting in that moment, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I do this. Well, sometimes, you know, I use physical, you know, like body things to release, you know what I'm saying? I'll get myself up to a moment where I'll cry. Like I'll listen to music that's just, it brings me to that moment. I'll cry, and then I'll say like, unhealthy cycles stop with me, because I'm at that moment of like I guess like a climax of emotion, and I'm telling my brain this in that moment of emotion, and that's where my brain is connecting things like with this feeling that I'm feeling, that unhealthy cycles stop with me. And I truly feel that. And you know, memories are attached to feelings, so I lock this memory into my brain that unhealthy cycles stop with me. And with being an accountable person, it helps me move and maneuver myself in a way that I know that unhealthy cycles stop with me. I've already fixed my brain on that. So with knowing that, I move in a way that says that, you know what I'm saying? Because you want to have positive affirmations for yourself, so that you're filling yourself with goodness. And this is the type of goodness, like we'll say like, oh, positive affirmations just like, I'm beautiful, I love myself, you know, like little basic shit, but it really needs to be curated for you. You don't need to sit and look up some affirmations on the interconnected webs that Beyonce pays for, you know what I'm saying? Beyonce can't tell you how to love yourself. Maybe a little piece. Some of them songs do be around the world, you know what I'm saying? Fair. But at the end of the day, you have to understand yourself, or want to understand yourself, to be able to even set affirmations that will work for you. You know what I'm saying? So this might be something that's down the line for some people. And this might be something that, you know, you can start with, because this is something that I started with when I was on the journey of figuring out how to love myself. Because back on that video that I made 7 months ago with Yana, that was at my start of learning myself. That's when I started working out. That's when I started talking to myself in the mirror. That's when I started talking on the internet. And really, a lot of my videos are for me. A lot of this shit I'm just learning. I'm just thinking about. And I'm like, let me post about it. You know what I'm saying? This is my thought. This is in my head. I had the thought, I put it down in my notes, and I get on the internet and I speak about it. You know what I'm saying? That was at my beginning journey of loving myself, because I think that I'm intelligent. And with loving myself, I nurture my hobbies. You know how when you love somebody else, they like this, so for their birthday you buy them this? That's what I started to do for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like in ways in which we treat ourselves, we treat other people that we think that we love, we should treat ourselves, yes. And that's why I fully think that this affirmation was perfect for me. Unhealthy cycles stop with me. That was one thing that I noticed that my grandmother did not do with me. She did not treat herself to anything. Therefore, I didn't get treated to anything. She did not know how to give me gifts. She would give me things that she liked. And I had to think, like, as I got older, why did she never buy me things like I liked? Like, she would just give me $200 on my birthday out of my own money a lot of the times. Give me $200 and then let me go, you know, pay for what I want, buy what I wanted. And it's like I would tell her what I want. She knew my interests. She would listen to me talk about stuff, but she would kind of shoot it down. Oh, that Hannah Montana. Oh, da, 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 da. You know, she never really paid attention to my likes, my dislikes, or my hobbies, other than ones that would make her look good. And that's another conversation. But ultimately, I realized it's because she never loved on herself. You know what I'm saying? She never decided for herself, like, oh, I'm going to treat myself to anything. Maybe a little snack here and there, like candy. She would treat me to some candy because she had her favorite candy. She liked turtles. You know what I'm saying? She liked Tootsie Rolls. So she would buy me, you know, little stuff that I liked. Certain foods that she would like, you know, stuff like that. Things that she was able to treat herself to, she would also treat me to. But when it came down to gifting yourself, like getting a piece of jewelry for yourself, you know what I'm saying? I don't really remember much of my grandma getting much jewelry for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Things because that's what I liked when I was younger. I liked jewelry, or I liked opportunities. I liked to be able to go to the fair, whatever. She wouldn't take me out anywhere. Like, it was just stuff. She didn't also treat herself. And so I realized that was a cycle that she had perpetuated, because this is my great grandmother. That was a cycle that she had perpetuated through the family, because she's raised pretty much everybody. She raised her daughters, and then her daughters had children who she also raised, and then those children had children who she raised a lot of them as well. So a lot of us in my family have not felt love or what it feels like to be nurtured. You know what I mean? Because that's also something that comes with love, is to nurture others. And I realized like that's something that I can't if I love myself and I love who I am, I'm supposed to love who future me is as well. You know what I'm saying? And who past me is as well. And past me needed someone to break that cycle for her. And because I love me and I love future me, I want to break that cycle for future me as well, so that future me can live a good life. You know what I mean? So that's why one of these affirmations for me is unhealthy cycles stops with me. Because I was trying to think in my head, like, what would help me love me on my exact path for myself? What is something that I need to understand? What is something that would help me truly get to where I need to be if I remember? If I implant it in my brain, what's going to help me get there? Unhealthy cycles stops with me. When you write affirmations for yourself, they need to be curated to you. And that means that you need to really sit and look at yourself. Look at yourself, think about yourself, think about your experiences, think about times that you've had, think about things that, you know, you wanted, but things that are healthy, you know what I'm saying, and things that make sense. Because be practical, baby. Be fucking practical. Don't sit there on that motherfucker and say, I got a fat ass. Don't do that. Don't make me mad, okay? Because I'm going to drop you from my motherfucking class, respectfully. And I get it, you know what I'm saying? Because me too, you know what I'm saying? I thought to put that on there. That's why I even thought to say that just now. But then I had to think, like, is it that deep? Is it that shallow, I guess? Like, or should I think deeper? Like, oh, I actually want to be healthy, really. That's why I started working out. I wanted to feel good about myself. Because when I started working out, I remember at one point when I was working out, it wasn't even that I looked the best or that I had the best banging body in the world. I just felt so good that that confidence that from feeling good just make you look good in turn. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't need the fattest donkey, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But it just come with it. It just come with the territory at this point, you know what I'm saying? When you know what you're doing, you're just like, I might as well. But that is how much loving yourself. You wanting to accessorize. You know what I'm saying? Like, accessorize your avatar. I don't want to completely change the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to throw it away and start over anew. You know what I'm saying? I like the base that I have. You know what I'm saying? I'm satisfied even if it wasn't changed. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing with you know, loving yourself. One of my affirmations is definitely, I am satisfied with who I am to my core. You have to be satisfied with yourself to want to bring on anything else in your life, because anything else that you do, you ain't gonna give a fuck about that. Because I made a video on TikTok. I had said, one thing I know about people who are dissatisfied with themselves is, and versus people who are satisfied with themselves, you feel whole. When you feel satisfied with yourself, you feel like one. And so in addition to you feels like 1 plus 0.5 or 1 plus 0.7 or 1 plus 1 or sometimes 1 plus 4, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes something feels like a huge addition to self, but it should never, ever, ever feel like, you know what I'm saying, you alone is just 0. You know what I'm saying? Because those individuals, when they get that 0.7, it don't feel like enough. Of course, because you see people with a hole. You see people who have hole as themselves. So you're like, well, okay, so I got to get more. You're never going to be satisfied, because all of these things are things that we get in life, like say what, money, power, fame, beauty, connections, all these things can die out. People don't live that goddamn long. Your friends ain't gonna live that motherfucking long. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes hey, all the shit that we garner for ourselves, it can disappear at any moment in any time. And then what? Then what? Then what? All you have is you. And you don't feel like anything. You feel like zero. So then you gotta go get more. And it's just a never-ending cycle of constantly consuming. And that's what consumerism is. I haven't talked about that, but that's what consumerism is, baby. And you know another thing? If you guys have any questions, or if you want me to break anything down specifically, I will make specific videos just for y'all over here, because I like to talk in a longer format, because sometimes you have to make things make sense. You have to break it down in different ways and make it connect. But ultimately what we're talking about right now is affirmations. And that's how you hold yourself accountable. I feel like in this one way, you know what I'm saying, by reminding yourself of who you are, or what you're supposed to be, or what you're supposed to be doing, you know what I'm saying, or what you want to be doing, or where you're going in life, you know what I'm saying. Accountability, like I explained earlier, is understanding and seeing what's going on around you, and being able to keep account and moving accordingly. You see what's going on around you in a bullshit space, and if you love yourself and you want to put yourself in a better position, accountability will say, okay, if I want to put myself in a better position, I have to act like it. And acting like it takes steps. And one of those things that I can say that helps you is having affirmations. It's a very easy thing to start off with, is having affirmations. There's steps to different things. It's a process, you know what I'm saying? It's not just a click, boom. You have to start with yourself. And it's deeper than just like, oh, I can just, go out and have a self-care day, take myself out to eat. Okay, you're full, you shit it out the next day, now what? I can go get my hair did, okay, in a few weeks. When it's not done, now what? Take some pictures, okay, when the likes are when they ain't building no more, now what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to build something that is very intrinsic within yourself, and not something that someone can take away from you. Like values, you know what I'm saying? And affirmations instill those within you, or they help you instill those within you, right? One another, let's see. And sometimes too, writing things down, as you can see, like not too much on my handwriting, bitch. I seen your face. Fuck. But I'll write my affirmation down like multiple times, because do you remember how we was in school, and when we would get in trouble, they would make us write down our multiplication tables over and over again. My teacher would call it a set. Write a set. Y'all gonna need to write a set. That would help us remember it. You know what I'm saying? And it would just implant in our brain. And as soon as you think multiplication tables, you automatically think of that. You know what I'm saying? And so when I think of love, I have something that one of my affirmations is, I am love. I am love. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I think about myself. And when you think of these things of yourself, when you talk about yourself in a certain way, you kind of move in that way. You know what I'm saying? You start to take on what you. That's why it's very important to think of how you talk about yourself. It's very important, because when you talk bad about yourself more than you talk good about yourself, because it's okay to kiki, you know what I'm saying? Everything is, it's funny sometimes, but baby, constantly saying like, girl, I look ugly today. You don't have too many days where you said I look ugly today, so your brain thinks most of the days you look ugly. And so then it's going to do things to help you reinforce that idea, because your brain on it, and it ain't going to never tell you stupid, ever, even if you are. You know what I'm saying? It's going to give you things around you that's going to reinforce it. It's going to make you notice other women who don't look like you, or women who you feel like have things that you don't have. But as long as you're reinforcing to yourself that I am love, beauty is love. You know what I'm saying? There's love and beauty. You feel me? The things that you love, you usually find them beautiful, regardless of if there's a standard or whatever it is, you find it beautiful. And so when you say I am love, you feel whatever it comes with love. And beauty is one of those things. You ain't gonna never, you know what I'm saying? And so that's the thing about writing things down and convincing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because writing it over and over, you convincing yourself. And you can, listen to some music and be consistent with it. You know how you train a dog? You keep doing the same thing over and over again. At the heart of it, we're animals, okay? Train yourself. Talk to yourself. Give yourself some affirmations. All right. So let me... I got so much in this this was a journal and everything, child. Woo. So yeah, I wanted to get around. I have some principles and standards that I have written for myself as well. I'm gonna read some of them. I haven't read them in a while, just because I felt like after I wrote them, I was like, okay, I got them out there. I know I can stick to what I feel is right, and whatever I wrote down has to be whatever I felt was right. So let's see. My first one is stay true to you. In any situation, if it does not align with who you know yourself to be, do not engage. Move as if there is no audience. Buy what you like, wear what you love, style yourself however you feel, think what you want to think, go where you want to go, learn what you want to learn. Stay true to yourself. You know what I'm saying? These are some principles and standards. You know what I'm saying? These are some principles and standards. And principles and standards. And one-on-ones is stay true to yourself. That's most important, like, to me anyway. Because if I can't stay true to me, I can't stay true to nothing. If you ain't loyal to yourself, you can't be loyal to nothing. If you don't love yourself, you can't be loyal to. And in this lifetime, that is one of the most important things, is staying true to yourself at this point. Do you see how important it is to be authentic? Do you see how far it carries people to be themselves? Stay true to you. It helps you learn. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. Another one I have is never allow someone to dim your light. What others say to you, about you, or anything involving you has nothing to do with you. It's not your business. It's not your motherfucking business. Fuck a hoe. Fuck a bitch. Respectfully. Bitches gonna talk regardless. You could be doing your best and on your best tees and doing your birthday suit. You know what I'm saying? Like, birthday suit, question mark? You can have one, the fit, you know what I'm saying? The outfit, you know what I'm saying? And girls is just still gonna, the girls are gonna talk. The girls are gonna have something to say. But if you affirm yourself with these principles and motherfucking standards that you set for yourself, and again, it needs to be for you. You know what I'm saying? You can take some of mine up off me. I don't mind. I feel like they're great ones, you know what I'm saying? But again, whatever you need for yourself, that's what you need to apply for yourself. And one of them, again, is never allow someone to dim your light. Your light is bright. If it dies, your soul dies. Don't let your soul die. You need you at the end of the day. You need to continue burning that passion and fire within you that tells you that you are somebody and you're worthy of love and everything that is beautiful and powerful. You need that. You're deserving of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, child, my headphones just died. But respectfully, you're deserving of that. Don't let nobody tell you that you're not. Because that's how they try to make you, that's how they dim your light. You know what I'm saying? Your light that shines bright tells you that you're so powerful. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of astrology insight as well. But one thing I want to say is that the sun rules Leo. You know what I'm saying? And Leo is a sign that represents like self-expression and confidence. You know what I'm saying? Being out there and being yourself. You cannot dim the light of a Leo. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all seen how YK Niece and Pluto had the going on, whatever. And the more that Pluto tried to, get YK Niece out of here, the more people was like, oh, who this is? I don't know. She kind of fly. Yes. YK Niece is a Leo. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just cannot dim that light no matter how hard you try. It's just there. It's even, people go to see eclipses. You know what I'm saying? People go to watch the sun be blocked out, quote unquote. You just can't. And so when people try to dim your light, just know that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get that attention off you. They need that warmth that people feel from being around you or whatever, fucking with you. They need that for themselves. Don't ever let them, they can't get it, really. As long as you stay true to yourself, you know what I'm saying? If you decide, I'm gonna be somebody different, I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna switch it up on them. Okay, now they just want to take over your old skin. They finna put it right back on, like they wanted to do anyway, that they was trying to do anyway. They couldn't fit into it before because you was already in it. But now they finna hop in it. Because you done decided, I'm going to do something different. Rather than sticking straight to who you are. Because that can't never be you. Who you just authentically are. Nobody can be that. Because it's you. Somebody can copy. They can try. But they cannot be it. It's just not. But it's easy to be something. You went and go copy something else. And was like, okay, I'm going to just be something else. You chose something else to be. They can choose the same thing. Just like you chose it. Because it's not you. Or unless you have different versions of yourself, what a lot of us do, feel me? Like, I'm gonna just tap into this version of myself. It's still you, you know what I'm saying? People can't, it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you just wanted to change your color palette that you usually be rocking with, whatever, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just being authentic to you, staying true to yourself, and never allowing someone to dim your light is very freaking important, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's very freaking important. You should keep a cute little notebook for yourself because it feels good to look back on your notes and be like, wow, I was spitting, I was cooking, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit. Write some principles and standards for yourself, some affirmations. These principles and standards and affirmations help uphold each other. They help you remind each other and implant good things into your brain so that you can breathe some love in that motherfucker. All right. You are not so strong, almighty, and powerful if you cannot be weak and vulnerable. I'm sure a lot of y'all have heard me say, as above, so below, the capacity, and as within, so without, the capacity that anyone has to do something great, they have the same capacity to be bad. The tree that grows up so mighty and powerful has deep, large, you know what I'm saying, huge, powerful roots at the bottom just as well to maintain that tree and its stature. It has to have balance, you know what I'm saying? That's just how shit works. So with you feeling like, you know what I'm saying, I'm strong, I can handle anything, but you can't cry. You can't talk about your feelings. Somebody asks you how you feel, you talking about what you think or what you heard or what you're gonna do. How do you feel? How did you get here? Break yourself down sometimes to be able to build yourself back up, because sometimes the foundation ain't too good. Sometimes we done went to level 1, we was good. Level 2, we was good. Level 3, we was a little shaky and a little rocky, but we were just like, okay, fuck it, I'm keep going. By the time we get to level 5, we done packed too much on top of level 3, and it can't handle it, so it busts and break down, and the whole building done towered over. You have to be able to recognize, like, wait a minute, I didn't learn that. I didn't learn that all the way like I needed to. I need to go back. I need to go back. I need to try that again. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't feel too powerful that you can't be vulnerable. Because it ain't never that. It ain't never that. You know what I'm saying? Those who are just so prideful of themselves, like, I'm this, I'm so mighty. Those are the ones that be crashing the fuck out. But at the same time, you never really know, because sometimes, because they know themselves so well, they're so proud of themselves, and you know what I'm saying? They're so good and big in themselves, they know what they're capable of. Some people you can't always trust shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. So I ain't even going. Yeah. But when it comes down to it, you have to be able to be soft enough with yourself and be kind enough with yourself to be empathetic and be able to reflect on what's happened to you in your life. What have you experienced in your life? What have you done in your life? Break yourself down. It's okay to be like angry, feel that anger, but you have to move the feelings. You know what I'm saying? You can't just hold it in. Hold it in, you're not a powerful person at that. Because let me tell you what happens. People who go out into the world and just have all these outbursts all the time, it's because they're holding in a lot of feelings, and the feelings just come busting. It's busting out the bottom constantly because they keep closing the cabinet and throwing the Tupperware there and thinking it ain't shit just gonna happen. You keep throwing the Tupperware in there, it's gonna fall out in the middle of the night. Like, what the fuck? That's the outburst that you were having. It's your Tupperware it's falling out the cabinet. You know what I'm saying? So what really a person who is powerful, they're a person who in the household who you know is real responsible. They the person who open the goddamn cabinet and they're like, ooh, this shit is unorganized. Let me organize this motherfucker. So the next person don't have problems when they come up in this bitch. Let me feel my feelings and process this properly, so by the time that I go to have this conversation with you, I'm not misplacing my feelings. I'm not giving you misplaced anger, misplaced guilt, misplaced sadness, misplaced shame. I'm not projecting onto you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Being able to be a powerful person is being able to be a vulnerable person and say, I'm sorry. I was wrong. This is what I'm going to do to fix it. And it's okay if you don't want to fuck with me no more. I understand. You ain't too big. You know what I'm saying? That's not power. All right. You have to be able to be vulnerable. You got to be able to be the smaller person, the weaker person. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to be a big person. And one of my things in here is be accountable, baby. I say that over and over again because I feel like that's so big. Be accountable. One of the things, pay attention and be tactful so that your actions make sense and can be accounted for. To be an accountable person, you can't just be doing shit willy-nilly and then say like, well, yeah, I did this. You can just explain all the bullshit that you did. That's not being accountable. That's just you being able to explain what happened. You need to also be able to explain how you got up here. And it has to make sense. You being able to just mimic or repeat the shit that you've seen, like you watched the movie, that's not being accountable necessarily. That's just you being able to watch and say, this is what I saw. Can you understand the feelings of the characters in the movie? Do you understand the plot and why it built up to that? Are you trying to think about it? Are you going to do the works? If you don't understand, are you going to do the necessary work in the necessary time, in the time frame that's needed? Are you going to do the work to fix that if you don't know? You know what I'm saying? That's being accountable. Paying attention, be tactful with your actions. Be intentional with your actions so that the shit makes sense. So that when somebody comes back and asks you what happened, you can make that shit make sense. You can lay that motherfucker out. Who was there? Down to the socks. Hold yourself to a standard to where you trust yourself enough to follow through consistently. That's how you be accountable too. That's one thing that I think is very important. If you holding yourself to such a high standard where like, I ain't gonna never tell a lie, you ain't gonna never meet that, because we tell lies. We're human beings. We tell little white lies or whatever here and there. And even if you don't, okay, Miss Perfect, respectfully suck a dick, because I do. I tell a little lie here and there, maybe for, dramatic effect. Fuck it, you know what I'm saying? Hell, what? Here's my thing: you hold yourself to such a high goddamn standard that you can't never really match up to. So you lying to yourself. That ain't being accountable. You telling lies? What's accountable about lies? You setting yourself up for disappointment? That don't even make sense. Again, the actions that you do, they have to make sense. The product that's produced after these actions, they have to make sense. If they don't make sense, how can you be? People ain't gonna think you're accountable. They're gonna think you're silly and you slow, because you keep doing shit that don't make sense. But then you come back and telling us why. Why would you tell us you did this? And then you the way you saying it, like the way you just explained it, like it made sense, bitch. Hold yourself to a standard where you can trust yourself enough to follow through consistently. Well, I'm not going to tell any lies that are malicious. That's a good standard. You ain't going to tell no malicious lies? I ain't going to hold myself to that one either, because I might. You know what I'm saying? But whatever you feel like you can hold yourself to it. Set that kind of standard rather than something that's so high because it sounds good. That means that you are not paying attention to who you really are. That's not being accountable. That's being a liar. Being delusional. Being accountable means you know who you are. You know what you do. So the standards that you set should be according to who you are, or who you want to be, or who you're planning to be. And if you're trying to actually plan to be that, then you need to abide by those standards and be accountable for yourself. Respectfully. Always think first. With anything. Before you react, stop and think. It's the only way to truly listen to someone. It is. A lot of times we'll hear something and we just react off of our emotions, how it made us feel. We'll start developing ideas about whatever our feelings are. Again, our brain is never going to tell us that we're wrong. It's going to get things to reinforce what we feel. If we think something's going to get feelings to reinforce what we think. It's going to make us notice things around us to reinforce what we're thinking. Hello? All right. So, think first always. Whenever you are listening to someone and you immediately feel that jerk, your heart, you start beating fast or whatever, it's making you feel a kind of way, or it's make you make facial expressions, it's because you're feeling something. Facial expressions are to express feelings, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes thoughts as well, but it's making you feel something. Hell, you know what I'm saying? It's got you sit and think about where this may be coming from. Give some, and there's layers to thinking as well. I'm gonna talk about thinking in another video, but there's layers to thinking. Think about shit. Because sometimes somebody's trying to tell you something and you can't hear it because you don't want to think. And then you can't be accountable. And then you can't really, you know what I'm saying, set some standards for yourself because you can't trust yourself because you can't motherfucking think. You can't make proper decisions when somebody's trying to say something to you. So you just all fucked up. Then you done fucked the whole shit up. You got to be consistent now. You got to be able to be consistent. Emotions can and will disguise itself as truth because it wants to be acknowledged in that manner. Understand that emotion does not equal fact. How you feel is not necessarily reality. Your thoughts produced by emotion are also not necessarily fact. Just give it some time. There is never a rush, ever. You have to get to know yourself just a little bit to understand how long you need to process things. But then in the same sense, do not sit and think, well, I need 5 days to process things, so they just need to deal with it. Is that a proper time? You have to think, you have to be realistic as well. You got to be realistic with yourself and you know what's going on in your surroundings, but also be empathetic and understand. I know who I am. That's what accountability. I know who I am, and to be accountable for myself, I make sure that I can get the things that I need, which is this amount of time to process what's going on, so I can think, so I can give some all around. You know what I'm saying? It's important because I love you and I love my connection with you, or whatever I'm doing right now. I need some time to think about what you're saying to me about this. All right. It's okay if you need to take time with it. Slow down, ponder. Maybe just feel your emotions through, so they're not in the way, but you have to think. You have to think. You have to think about everything. You can't just act off the what the fuck you feeling. Okay? Another one. Lead with motherfucking love, okay? Lead with some love. Lead with love. You feel me? Like, there's no reason to be hateful necessarily. I do think that we should do hateful things every once in a while in life. I think it's very important. So this is one of those things where it's like, hold yourself to a standard, you know what I'm saying, One of my standards I also say is being empathetic with myself, being accountable. So I understand that this is one of those standards that I'm a little bit lenient with myself with, okay? I can see the top of the line. Fuck with me. You don't understand? Because I know me. I know me. You know what I'm saying? That's just me being accountable for me. I know me. And I can be honest and say what I do and what I don't do and what I know and yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna never go too deep. I ain't gonna never get past where I think I need to be at. You feel me? You fuck with me? Everything you do and say should come from a place of love. Whether it's one of laughing, whether it's the love of laughing, joy, love of food. Oh, what the hell did I say? Food, a satiating desire, or whatever it is, do it because you love it. Do it because you love it. Like, I did make a little video about one girl. I do edit her video because she was saying, Lord, things I need to say. You know, she tried to sidecheck me sidecheck me a little piece, child, on live, girl. I was like, who are you talking to? Are you talking to me? What? She was saying, like, everybody trying to, make videos to come at me and whatever. It's against God. This is the devil, you know what I'm saying? Anybody who's spiritual knows what's coming for him and karma. I'm like, girl, are you talking to me? I said, hold on. Are you talking to me? Respectfully, like, you trying to say that I got karma coming for me because I laughed at you? Like, that came genuinely. I love laughing. I love humor, and I thought it was hilarious. It didn't come from a hateful place. I don't hate you. I'm sorry, my love. But I could see, you know what I'm saying? I see how that was mischievous, but I also love mischief. So what can I say? I'm not a perfect person. I'm not trying to be. I'm just setting standards for myself that I know that I can abide by, to be accountable for myself. You feel me? I didn't think, hey, that was within my standards for myself. I like to laugh. And I think in this world, we all participate with each other, we're going to laugh at each other some motherfucking times. And that's what it is, baby. Fuck a nigga and a bitch. Hey, respectfully. And I did say, girl, I thought it was funny. So are you talking about me? Because I did laugh. I made a video laughing. I thought it was hilarious. She was like, no. I'm talking about the folks who, trying to do it. You had an agenda. You had a purpose. I'm thinking like, girl, bye. You wanted to check me on the side. And she asked at the end, talking about, is this video going to stay up? It's going to stay up. Yeah, ho. You thought you was going to get some clout? No. Why would I? First of all, no. And then two, if it would stay up, you think I would keep a video up if you trying to side check me? And then it's embarrassing for you because then I'm like, who the fuck? I said, who are you talking to? And you look shitty as hell. Like, bitch, you like you seen the motherfucker? It was just crazy. Anywho, not too much. You know what I'm saying? It's not even that deep. But it's at the end of the day, I lead with love. Even if it's mischievous, it is what it is. You do things to your siblings, your cousins, fuck it. Whatever. Hard conversations have to be had, but make sure what you're saying comes from a place of love and not malice. For example, that conversation I had with that young lady, it was definitely not coming from a place of malice because I understood completely that she wanted to share, get that shit off her chest, you know what I'm saying, whatever she felt about the people that were coming at her. I completely understood, like, and I respect that. But I definitely, out of love, sister, and love for myself, I can't just let nobody think that, I gotta be coming from a place of love, not malice. When you do things to people, when you say things to people, you know what I'm saying, make sure it's within the bounds of kindness, you know what I'm saying, respectfully. But yes, I have some standards. I have a lot more standards that for myself or whatever. But I think I'm going to make another video about those standards. I think it's very important to really dive deep and get into it. But that is a lot of, what I have to say about finding some affirmation with yourself. I think that's a very good basis of understanding yourself, understanding what love is and how to love yourself. One of those things you can start with is affirming yourself. Now, not too much, you know what I'm saying? This is my very first video where I've really talked to you guys like for that amount of time, and I'm hot as a motherfucker. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like sweating. So, I hope you all enjoyed. I hope it was very informational, informative. Yeah. Let me know if you have any questions about anything specifically. I can dive deeper. Yeah. It's only going to get better from here. Trust me. I'm working on my formatting and everything. I'm thinking, I got some things, some little tricks up my sleeve I'm excited about that I'm thinking about. So we'll see how this works, babe. You have a good night.